This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Christmas came early this year because I just got gifted the new Perfect Package 4.0 by Manscaped. Let's check it out. Your jingle balls will thank you. Manscaped created the world's first all-in-one men's grooming kit that has you covered from head to toe. Literally, the Lawnmower 4.0 waterproof cordless trimmer is built with advanced skin-safe technology which helps reduce nicks and cuts on your most sensitive areas. It has this cool LED light which is really helpful for grooming on those cold, dark winter nights. Need more ideas? Here's a stocking stuffer: Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray. This is a game changer. Manscaped is no longer just for below the waist grooming. In addition to products for your face, they now have you covered head to toe with their new and improved Shears 2.0 luxury 6-piece stainless steel nail kit. Every guy out there needs to add Manscaped to their wish list this season. If you've got a special man in your life that's been extra good this year, make sure you get him this Perfect Package by Manscaped. For a limited time, you'll also get 2 free gifts: the Shed travel bag and the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs. That's a gift on top of a gift, which pretty much makes you the best gift giver of all time. Don't wait, go to manscaped.com and use my promo code ALEXENT to get 20% off plus free international shipping. Plus those 2 free gifts. Just follow the link in the description and pin comments below. Thank you so much, Manscaped, for sponsoring this video. So, I finally got around to watching the last Evangelion film, and I thought it was very good. Kind of. I wanted to wait some time for the dust to settle for this one, to separate myself from any previous bias, I guess. Some people say this is a film specifically for big Eva fans, but I actually feel as though this is the biggest case so far of being a film mainly for Hideaki Anno, and really ramming home the auteur nature of his work. Thank God. If it hadn't been anything like this, I would have wasted so much time talking about auteur theory on that last video, but here we are. Just saying right now, spoilers, you need to have seen the film to have any idea what I'm talking about, and it's generally a very baffling film. This movie comes across as less of a sequel and more as a collection of vignettes, an assortment of experiences that Anno himself has gone through to display growth by thrusting the characters through them. For those who are wanting more lore or mystery or just a lot of what Evangelion got right in previous installments, this film can feel a bit of a letdown for that. And I say that because, to some extent, I feel that too. I wouldn't be surprised if Hideaki Anno never made a film ever again, because at times here, this really does feel more like a swan song to his entire creative career than it does a conclusive chapter in the Evangelion series. I think some of the jarring opinions of this film, where it's not bad but it's not what I even wanted, are because of the nature of that. I also apologize in advance for the structure or lack thereof in this video. If Anno can do it for almost 3 hours, then I guess so can I. This video really is like scattered thoughts and my own mental vignettes on the whole Rebuild series in retrospective. For example, it seems I wasn't too far off in my readings of these films being Anno's way of speaking to us about himself, tearing his soul to pieces to, at the end of the day, accurately portray the mental devastation that he himself had suffered. This is a film that was delayed and created only when Anno was ready for it. And after the restorative projects that he undertook, he finally got the chance to feel good enough to make it. And lo and behold, we have a Shinji that recovers and lives and is happy by the end. That's like the very, very end, but it's something that I wanted to get out there first, and then loop back around to by the end. Because the crux of the film is a mental and emotional autobiography of sorts. The idea of the time loop that originally existed for the rebuilds ended up being almost a metaphorical loop of a depressive mindset, living through the roughness of it again and again, until Shinji thankfully grew through it all. That's the ultimate message I feel embodies the whole franchise at this point. And overall, I stand by my opinion of it all generally being genius because it's almost like an artistic experiment. And I'm just so happy that Anno got to give us this movie. Is it perfect? No. But after all, if this is the movie that speaks from Anno's mind, then it's no surprise that it isn't. It's just a great thing that it's overall a lot happier than anything before it. That he himself has grown into a happier place than whatever 2012 brought him is probably the only reason we're seeing this to begin with. I never would have thought that the film would almost instantly confirm that Shinji is an allegory for Anno. But in the first couple of minutes we see Shinji turning away meat and fish and essentially becoming a vegetarian as a byproduct of his mental trauma. Something that is autobiographically Anno. And I'm glad I covered that in my last video because it's almost exact to his words, the way Shinji behaves here. I also loved that the whole inverse reality idea was alluded to, with Shinji and Rei meeting on screen for the first time being reflected by their last meeting together on screen. This comes after the tumultuous battle where Shinji recognizes his control and restarts the narrative. It works both on the metaphysical idea of the time loop, which we've brought up before, but it also works with the principle of Shinji being Anno and recognizing that only he can set things right when it comes to his mentality with the world around him. This reset starts, again, reflecting some shots and ideas that we've seen before, but with a happier backdrop. It's a sign of this new reality being the better. The Freudian theory of Shinji and Rei and his mother being brought front and center when Asuka says, "That loser doesn't need a lover, he needs a mother," is really cool to finally be heard out in the open. There's a lot that Anno divulges, and I think it's really impressive for a film to both do that as often as this film does, whilst still being another mysterious, often creepy, Evangelion entry. One of the things that underwhelmed me a little this time was the music, believe it or not. I thought it could have maybe remixed some other new tracks, but it largely stuck to the same OSTs as the third film. The pacing of the film is perfectly contemplative when it was going for that. I honestly could have watched that for the whole 3 hours, but when it comes to action, things did ramp up to an almost jarring level. At the same time, I don't think I'd sacrifice any of that first half of the movie though, so everything here is genuinely worth keeping. It's just got so much meat on it the whole way through that either it could have been a two-parter or become the longest movie in anime history. It's such an unapologetically auteur movie that it's divisive to everyone in a way, and it's making peace with that you can see its qualities shine brighter. The animation is great, largely keeping to the style of 3.0 with its blend of 3D and 2D whilst retaining the 2.35:1 aspect ratio. To actually address this change in aspect ratio, by the way, I think I figured out a couple of reasons why Anno might have gone for this. One reason is obviously we now know that Shinji becomes a more refined character. His aims and ambitions narrow into a single purpose starting with 3.0 and ending in this 3.0 plus 1.0. And this film practically being his perception of reality that he can change by the end, it makes sense that everything we see becomes sharper and narrowed as the boy wonder himself latches on to his perception of reality. There's another reason though, and this reason has to do with the title itself. For the longest time, I thought Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 was one of the worst, most purposefully obnoxious titles that I've ever seen, and I kinda still do. But I've warmed to it knowing that it has a meaning, or I've devised one from it anyway. The films before this consist originally of 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. So what do we get with 1.0 plus 3.0? Surely 4.0, right? Well, what was 1.0? After the original series, 1.0 was a new beginning, a new point of origin. What was 3.0? It was a formation of a new world entirely, a genesis where all the characters desperately clung on to their own sense of belief. Now, here's an old clip I made about figuring out the title and trying to conjure some meaning out of it. We have two overtly religious words here, with Evangelion referring to the gospel of Christianity itself, Genesis, which implies a point of origin, and then we have neon, an element, but also named from the Latin word for new. The title can accordingly be read as a new point of origin for faith or belief. So if 1.0 plus 3.0 is the same as Neon Genesis Evangelion, then what does a new point of origin for faith and belief truly equals? The film, I'd argue, tells us. It's salvation. It's what Shinji finds by the end. The film is the answer to the question of its title. A new point of origin for faith and belief is salvation itself. It's what Shinji found, it's what Anno found, and it's the series' ultimate and final message. Those are my thoughts, scattered as they were, on the final Evangelion film. I hope that rounds off all of the ideas that I brought forth in the Genius of video and kind of finishes off in a neat enough way. What did you think about that final point of mine? Comment your thoughts down below, and any other readings into it that you might have yourself. Like the video and subscribe for more. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting the creation of every video, and have a great night.